Well, hello, everyone. I'm coming to you live today from Harlem. It's been an interesting journey, this nomadic life. So excited. But I want to talk about if you're struggling with pricing your services or products or just sales in general and, about what's actually happening. I don't believe most of the time that it's that you don't know your value. I believe that you do. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, wait, I actually don't know my value and I'm not sure I believe in what I'm offering, that's a totally different conversation. You want to go back to the drawing board. You want to feel super confident in your offer, your products, and your services. Or you want to do some of that deep work of your limiting patterns and your limiting belief. What we're going to talk to you about today is more after you've kind of done that work, removed your money blocks, and you're holding back those things that hold you back. So if you are not sure of your value, then I want you to do my shadow workshop. Jose, if you could drop that link, because there's a lot, and I've said it many times, I'm going to continue to say it, that launching a business, being an entrepreneur is like the deepest spiritual practice there is. And some of the work that we get to do helps us to empower ourselves and be the highest and best version of ourselves. So if you're still in that space, I want you to do the shadow workshop so that you can then be more aware and more conscious of what is driving the choices that you are making. All right, cool. But if you do know your worth and you're still struggling charging it, and even more so getting people to pay it, well, that's what we're solving today. The problem is every time you go to say your number or close a deal, a pattern takes over and you just drop into it. I know this because I did it for decades. I'm Prosperous Jenn. I spent nearly 30 years in real estate, lost it all, and then shifted into building a business that supports the life of my dreams. And now I help people do the same. And I, too, undercharge for pretty much my entire career. You can remove that scroll, please. My entire career, until I figured out what I am going to share with you today. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to get to the bottom of why you struggle with your pricing, your worth, and also struggling with sales. But drop ready in the comments right now if you want my 6-figure blueprint and a free clarity call that will come with it, valued at $500, and we can map out what's undercharging you if you can't hang out today or you're watching the replay and you know that you are ready. But now let's get to it. Let's figure out the patterns that are keeping you broke. I see in most of the people that I work with, you're not undercharging because you don't know your value. You're undercharging because of those limiting patterns. They are showing up and they are running your decisions, your pricing decisions. So here are some of those patterns. Number one is people pleasing, right? Thinking, I don't want them to think I'm greedy. What if they can't afford it? This is you pricing based on their comfort, their perspective of you rather than your worth. The second one is scarcity. What if no one wants to pay this? I need the money now, so let me charge less so it'll be easier. I'm here to tell you, it is just as hard to sell somebody for $300 as it is for $3,000. It's not about the money. It almost never is. So scarcity thinking has zero place in your pricing. So we really want to make sure that we have eliminated that. But in order to not be in scarcity thinking, we want to make sure that we are so confident in our offer. And then we have proving. Once I get the results, then I raise my rates. Now, I want to quantify this. There is a time when you are launching a new offer, building a new business, where you want to sort of, put things out there before it's perfect, kind of like a viable product test and see how it goes. Make sure you're on the right track. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about underpricing because it's going to be easier to sell. And the bottom line is if you're doing that as a strategy, you are conscious and aware and making that choice and decision. But if you're doing it because you're scared and you feel like you're broke and you need this money, that is the energy you're going to be leading with. And I guarantee you it ends up being harder to close them even at a lower place because you are bringing that energy forward. You are pricing to prove your worth instead of knowing your worth. Who wants to sign up with somebody who doesn't know their worth? So we got to go back to that. Go back to the drawing board. Make sure you believe in your product, your service, your offerings, and that you understand the transformation that you provide and the greater good that your business serves. Once you are in that space, pricing becomes much easier. And it still takes practice. Absolutely. And then the last pattern that we're going to talk about today is perfection and control. I can't raise my prices until I have everything figured out. I mean, go back to I can't launch until I have everything perfect. The unknown terrifies you so much. So you're pricing for what feels manageable versus what is possible. And that is a huge energy shift. One is vibrating at a really low level and one is vibrating at a really high level. I talk about the placebo effect in sales. We want to be so confident in our product, in our services, in the greater good that our business provides, the transformation that we provide, that we transfer that energy over to our clients, our customers, and that they show up so excited that they're already doing a ton of the work behind the scenes before they even get started with you. That's what I call the placebo effect. They actually also believe because you believe. You cannot set your pricing and you cannot be effective in sales if you are not in that mindset. The result is that you'll be exhausted, resentful, broke, and you'll maybe have a whole bunch of clients, but no profit, and you'll be working harder for less. That's if they even bite. Because if you are not confident and you are not in a space of knowing and understanding and leading from possibility and the transformation that will occur, it's going to be a really big struggle. So we're going to talk about pricing from your vision versus pricing from your fear. And most people price backwards. They go out and they say, okay, what will the market will share? What will the market bear? What is everybody else charging? What feels safe to ask for? And most people price backwards. We want to set prices from possibility and the most empowered version of you. We want to make sure that we know how to get into that empowered space. Well, we're going to start with talking about visualization. We're going to go back to that clarity. Clarity is always the foundation. So what do I want this business to do for me? How do I want it to support my life? What do I want my Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to look like? How many clients can I serve at my highest and best? And what do I need to make per client or per sale to support that life? And this is counterintuitive, but we want to do this first before we start designing offers and products and so on and so forth. Because if we're building a business that's not going to support the life of our dreams, what is the purpose? But also, if we are undercutting and underselling ourselves just to get people in the door, we're not going to show up empowered. We're going to show up resentful, tired, stretched thin, and all of those things. And then that cycle just starts to repeat. And you don't even know which one came first. So once we have a clarity of our vision of what we want our life to look like, and then we have a really good understanding of the transformation that we are offering and all of those things, well, then we want to begin working on our pricing. We're going to reverse engineer from that clarity, not from what you think people will pay and not from what feels safe, but what supports the life that you're building and what's going to portray the value of what you're offering. We want to make sure to transfer that energy and that confidence. We want our people to have skin in the game too, not feel like they're getting transformation at a bargain based price. And here's the thing, you guys, almost every single business, no, not almost, every single business provides some sort of transformation, serves a greater good. It's just a matter of honing in and understanding that and tapping into it. That is the very foundation of my Beyond Limits program. It's exactly what we work on from the get-go, because it's really hard to build without that. You're just kind of throwing things into the wind and hoping it supports your life and hoping it lands with your clients. And that's just not the kind of business that we want to build. We want to ask ourselves questions like, does this rate support the life that I am designing, or is it stealing from it? And then, is the value matching the price, the transformation, the results? And do I believe in that transformation and those results? And then you build the value to match the rate. So sometimes, right? Sometimes you just threw a rate out there and maybe there isn't enough value in it. So you're going to go back in and add value in a way that does not compromise your integrity, your vision, your desires, the life that you want. So there are lots of other ways to add value into your offers that maybe don't cost you out of pocket and your precious time. And then it's a matter of holding those rates. So it's one thing to set the rates. It's a whole other thing to get people to pay them. And here's what no one tells you. That part is really, really easy. But when somebody says, I think that's too expensive, I'm not sure the time is right, or whatever objection that they are giving you, we're almost always translating that as price. But I'm here to tell you that it's often not about the money. We just need to be able to be so confident in our offer and know that not everybody is going to say yes to us. Our products, our services, our offers are not for everybody. They're for the people it's going to serve at the highest level. But being able to be in that space and to be able to say, I'm just curious, what makes you think, you told me you wanted blank, blank, blank. So what makes you think that you're not ready to move forward today? What makes you think that this price is too expensive? And allow them that space to answer. Because oftentimes, like I said, it's not about the price, but we start panicking and go into directly. And I'm talking about even when they say it's too expensive, it's often not about the price. But oftentimes they also do not know where their resistance is coming from. And this is where emotional stamina comes in. Every day, I have my morning routine and I have my evening routine. And I call this my bookends that hold me up throughout my workday when I'm prospecting, making calls, and when I'm coaching. I do these rituals to create the space that I need to have my vision front and center, have it up there as my North Star guiding me so that I am grounded and my nervous system is not going crazy. And you guys, right now, I am building from a place where there is so much going on in my life, so much, like really challenging things. But yet I'm able to show up powerfully. I'm able to serve my clients on a level that I don't think many other coaches do. And all of that is because I have built up this emotional stamina through my morning routines and my evening routines. Morning practices that ground you in your worth before you talk to anyone, and evening practices that release maybe the no's or the perceived failures from that day, letting them go, processing them, gaining all the lessons from them. These no's or perceived failures have nothing to do with your worth or your value, but we internalize it like that. And then next day, it becomes even harder. So that is why I truly believe in building that emotional stamina and having these rituals and routines that are going to prop us up and make us be in that most empowered, highest and best version of ourselves, no matter what is going on in our life. Energy management is so important so that you're not carrying around other people's opinions about your prices, other circumstances in your life that really have nothing to do with this conversation you're having right now with a prospective client or an existing client. You cannot hold your rates and operate at a high level from a depleted nervous system. If we were binge watching TV the night before and not taking any time out to look at our wins and release the no's, I promise you, I have learned you cannot release the negativity from a day's activities from binge watching TV or drinking too much wine. None of that is going to help your nervous system or help you to become more confident and sure in pricing the next day. And I am not here to judge you. Do whatever makes you feel good. Just make sure that you allow yourself the space to be able to process and analyze the lessons from what, maybe where somebody said no, or that was too much money, and how you responded. You get to build that emotional muscle when you hear no and stay grounded in your worth. This was a really, really big lesson for me. And a lot of those lessons come from even things outside of business. Really being able to, if somebody says something that's hurtful or somebody takes an action that you think is somehow personal, we want to train ourselves to not take that stuff so personal. If somebody doesn't want to work with us, it's not a personal affront to us. It may not be the right time. They may not be in the right space. There's a million reasons. I can just guarantee you that it has nothing to do with your value or your worth. And so often I see people, after 1 week of prospecting, they're going back and changing everything over and over and over and over again. And so if you're just about to launch, I'm so glad that you're landing on this right now, because these are really good and important habits to get in place right away. And just remembering that even the failures, it's all information. It's not validation or invalidation. It's information. And we want to constantly be tweaking our offers and our services and our product based on the information that we are gathering when we are putting ourselves out there. We do our part. We know our worth. We speak about our offers and propose whatever it is, our product and our service, and we hold strong on our rate. And then we let go. The right people will pay and the wrong people won't. And both are absolutely perfect. I don't know if we had any questions today. Oh, yes, I did mention wine. Okay, what's the best way to announce a price legacy increase to old clients? Well, I think it's really important to know exactly where your clients are at and have, a very intense internal dialogue around that. So we don't just, boom, raise our prices. Raising prices is something that should take a lot, you should really be going into your intuition and understanding how it's going to impact your clients. I think it's also important as you are building your business that you let people know it's not always going to be this rate. It's not always going to be this rate. It's not always going to be this rate. And I think I prefer to do this kind of thing on a one-on-one call, but it depends on the type of business that you have. So, maybe writing a heartfelt message to your clients and sending that out via email, via social media. I had a client that was a restaurant who had to raise his prices, and he just kind of went in and explained all the things that have happened since the pandemic that justified the need. I know steakhouses right now that are like averaging $25 profits on $400 bills. So they need to raise their prices. Yet we go in and I'm like, $70 for a steak, not in Manhattan? Are you kidding me? But some of these places are doing a really good job, even in their menu, explaining that there's challenges all across the board in that industry and allowing your clients an insight peek to what's going on. I think it's deeply personal. So, I mean, if you're struggling with this, I would love for you to hop on a clarity call with me and we can talk it through and work it through. It's very personal. Pricing is very personal, but I can promise you sometimes, I've seen people decide I want to 10x my business and they've had to completely alienate a whole group of clients because it's not profitable. And I think at the end of the day, people are going to respect you if you are open and honest and explaining to them like this isn't profitable. And profit doesn't just mean money. profit means soulful prosperity, where I have built a business that supports the life of my dreams and that I am showing up as my highest and best version of myself. And I can manage my energy based on my pricing, because the pricing is going to dictate how long you have to prospect for and how many people you have to prospect to, or how many people you have to get in front of and how many times you get to go live, so on and so forth. So I hope that answered your question. So if any of this resonated, put it back. Does low pricing actually hurt the client's results? Low pricing absolutely can hurt the client's results, because number one, we want clients to have some skin in the game. Number two, if you are underpricing to a level that you are not profitable and you have to work 10 times harder, and at the end of the day, you're not making a lot of money, you're not going to show up as powerful. You're not going to be pleasant to be around. You're going to be resentful, tired, and broke. So absolutely, that is going to hurt the client's results, because I believe the energy that we bring is impacts directly the client's results. I go back to the placebo effect. I want to show up so powerfully, so excited, and living in the land of possibility. And look, sometimes they're saying no to the pricing because they don't have what they need to give in order to get the results out of your product or your service or your offerings. And so even if they got it at the lower price, they're not going to show up as powerfully as they need to get the results that they want. Make sense? Yeah. So if any of this resonated and you're ready to stop undercharging, or you're struggling in building and launching, just drop ready in the comments or directly message me, and I'm going to send you my blueprint. We can hop on a clarity call. I love nothing better than to help people, guide people through the process of building a business that supports the life of your dreams, because what's the point otherwise? Thank you guys so much. Little short and sweet today. If you need anything, direct message me and I am here for you. Have a great day.